So it's now time to set up the client-side login and register functionality. And we also want to deal with sending our token on every request. And that's what we're configuring in this particular section. So we'll start off with creating a couple of interfaces, and we already know the shape of the data of what we're returning here. And if we take a look at our user object, we know that this is what we're going to get back when we log into our API. And we also know that we need to pass up an email and password for a login request, and for a register request we need to pass up the display name and username in addition to that as well. So let's create an interface in our client application for the user object, and inside the app, inside the models, I'm just going to create a new file called user.ts. And first of all, I'll create an interface for the iUser in this case, and this is going to contain the properties of what we receive back from the server. So we'll have a username, which is going to be of type string. We'll have a display name, which will also be of type string, a token, which will be again a string, and the image, which we'll set to be optional for now because we simply don't have a way of dealing with images at this time. And we'll set this also to be a string. And what we'll also do is create another interface for the form values for our login and register forms. So I'll create another interface and call this one iUser form values. And once again, we'll add the properties that we're going to send up to the server in this case, and we'll have the email, which will be a string. The password, again, will be a string. And so that we can use the same interface, I'll just add the display name, and I'll make this optional, and also the username, and once again make this optional as well, and utilize a string. And what we'll also do now is we'll just create the API methods that we need for our register, our login, and to get the current user as well. So let's just open up the agent.ts file, and I'll just scroll down and I'll create a new object for the user requests, and I'll say const user equals, and let's add a request for the current user, and we'll strongly type these requests as well. And what this is going to return is a promise of an iUser object. So we'll specify promise, and inside the type we'll specify iUser. And we'll just automatically import that and make sure this is imported successfully. And then we'll say requests.get, and we'll specify / and user. Then we'll add the login request, and this is going to take a user object, and this is going to be the iUser form values is the type, and this is also going to return a promise of an iUser object, and we'll say requests.post, and we'll add the backticks and / user and login, and we'll add the user objects we're sending up. And the register is similar enough to just copy down, and I'll just say register, and I'll change the URL to register, and we'll again just pass up the user object here. So now we have our interfaces and we've got our API methods, and what we'll do next is take a look at creating a user store so that we can call these methods.